What's going on, everybody? It's Kabaddi Keenan, and today we're going to be watching the rules of Kabaddi as explained by Ninh. So apparently this guy, he reviews a bunch of different sports, like literally every kind of sport that exists. He, I guess, has a video covering the rules and talking about it. So he has one over Kabaddi, so we're going to watch it and see how it is.
Ninh explains the rules of Kabaddi. Kabaddi is an Indian sport played with two teams of 12 players, with 7 players taken to the court at any one time. The game is played on a rectangular court that's generally a maximum of 13 meters by 10 meters. This is a midline that divides the court into two, and these are the balk lines, the end lines, the bonus lines, and this is the lobby area. I'll explain what these are shortly. The object of the game is for your team to score more points than the opposing team. To score, a team must send a player, known as a raider, into the opposing half of the court whilst chanting the word Kabaddi repeatedly.
They don't have to do that. They don't chant Kabaddi repeatedly. They have a recording that sort of does that for them. So that's something that doesn't really exist, especially not in the PKL. I don't think they do that period anymore. I think that's an outdated rule.
A raider must only use one breath and chant the word Kabaddi repeatedly to show the referee that he is exhaling and not holding his breath. The first goal of the raider is to reach the balk line. Failure to do this results in the raider being out and cannot participate in the next part of the game. The second goal of the raider is to touch as many players as he can and make it back to the midline before he is caught and tackled by the defenders. He can do this in several ways, with a hand touch, a toe touch, a kick, or by trying to escape a tackle and reaching for the midline. He gets 1 point for every opposing defender that he touches, so long as he makes it back to the midline, or whilst repeatedly chanting the word Kabaddi. And any touched defenders are out and cannot participate in the next round of play. Understand so far? Cool.
Yes,
Let's continue.
I do.
The defenders, sometimes known as antis, will try and stop the raider returning to the midline, especially if one of them has been touched. They can use several tactics such as the ankle hold, back hold, front tackle, and forcing them off the court entirely. If the defenders manage to stop the raider returning to his own half of the court,
they get a
the
point.
raider is out and the defending team gets 1 point. Once a raider is finished, the opposing team must send out a raider of their own within 5 seconds, or the team will lose a point. Got it? Good,
Yes.
because it's about to get a lot more complicated. When a player is out, he must wait in the sitting block and is temporarily unable to participate in the game. Once a raider has been tackled, or a point has been scored, they are allowed to revive one of their own players out of the sitting block to rejoin the team. This means that every time you score, you can revive one or more of your players back onto the field of play. The game is played in two 20-minute halves, for a combined playing time of 40 minutes. Highest score at the end of time wins. Kabaddi is the ultimate game of cat and mouse, as the defenders have to be far enough away so that they can't be touched, but also close enough to tackle the raider should he decide to make a run for it. This is a highly strategic sport, and there's a few more rules that you'll need to understand before playing or watching a game. For example, the lobby. The lobby is an extended area of play, which is denoted by the yellow areas here. These are only active when a defender has been touched, and gives both the raider and defender more room to try and score or get the raider out. Bonus line.
That took me a minute to sort of understand that they could only use that once somebody got touched. It did take me a second to sort of catch on to that when I was first started watching Kabaddi.
As mentioned before, this is the bonus line. If a raider puts 1 foot in the bonus line with 1 foot in the air, he will score 1 point so long as he makes it back to the midline.
The bonus point, that sort of thing, that took me a little bit longer to sort of catch on to, because I didn't watch any sort of video trying to understand how to play Kabaddi or like the rules of it. I just sort of gradually picked up on it by watching it, and it took me the longest to understand the bonus line and sort of like how that worked. And because it'd be like, oh, it only works whenever there's 6 or 7 people, defenders, on the court at one time, but if there's less than that, then the bonus line isn't active and you can't get a bonus point. So it took me a minute to sort of understand how it worked and like when it's active and when it's not. So
however, the bonus line is quite far from the midline, and reaching for this line makes it easier for the defender to tackle you. The bonus line is only active when there are 6 or 7 defenders on the court. Super tackle. If there are 3 or less defenders on the defending team and they manage to tackle a raider, this is known as a super tackle and scores 2 points. 1 point for eliminating the raider and a bonus point for doing so with 3 or less defenders. Do or die raid. If a team has 2 unsuccessful raids, i.e. they score 0 both times, the third raid is the do or die raid. Failing to score on the third raid in a row results in the raider being out. Pursuit. A pursuit is where a defender charges at a retreating raider with the aim of scoring a quick point off him. This is usually done if the other team is slow to retreat from a raid and the defender is close enough to score a point and make it back to the midline quickly before the other players realise.
It was so funny. There was a match earlier in this last season of the PKL where a defender tried to do that to Pawan, and Pawan made one of the best tackles of the entire season. He just like grabbed the guy and pulled him in for the tackle. It was really cool because Pawan's one of the best raiders of all time, so you wouldn't expect him to make one of the best tackles you've seen. So it was pretty cool, but it was in a moment like this pursuit sort of instance where that sort of happened.
All out. If in the rare instance a raider gets all the defenders out in one raid, this is known as an all out. The raiding team gets 1 point per player and an additional 2 points. All players are revived after an all out. To the uninitiated, Kabaddi seems strange, confusing, even ridiculous. But once you understand the rules, it becomes an interesting sport to watch.
Anyway, so I'm gonna stop it there. I actually really thought that video was very informative. It legitimately covers all the rules of Kabaddi for you to be able to sit down and watch a match and understand it. I thought he did a really great job explaining every single component of the sport. Not only the breakdown of the court, but how many players are on each side, like how going in and out once you get tagged, once you get out, how you come back in, the different ways you can score points and whatnot. So I thought that was a very informative video, and I think it's one that people should watch if they are interested in the sport of Kabaddi and want to know how it's played so that they can better understand it when watching it. And obviously once they understand it, it's a much more enjoyable sport. So I thought he did a great job Ninh, in explaining the rules of Kabaddi. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later.